is, well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for being on time. You guys were spot on here when I got here, and it's sort of hard to do when you're on vacation. Some of you come from different time zones. You're on vacation, so it's sort of fun to sleep in a little bit late. I'd like to start out and find out where everybody is from, just as we get going here on the east side of Hollywood. How about way in the back? Let's start with the last row.
Norway.
Where are you folks from?
Norway.
Norway?
Yeah.
Welcome from Norway. I'll say tak. Is that how you say?
That's right.
Thank you, tak. Yesterday I had Sweden, and the day before I had Denmark. That was amazing. I guess tomorrow I will have Finland. And this building on the left, this is our city's water and power. And on the left-hand side, this building right over here is the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion.
One more time, please.
This is where the Oscars were given out. Right over here on the left side. The Academy Awards.
Cool.
Look at the solar panels on the right side. Check that out over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that cool? That's pretty neat.
Super.
So we're going to hit some traffic here, but I want you to see some of downtown Los Angeles. We're going to come back here later and make a stop at this building in just a little bit.
Yeah.
But let's get into the core of downtown, okay? So downtown, what does that mean? A lot of people from Europe say, why do you call downtown everything? You know, Lower Manhattan, the south side of New York, is called downtown. You know, some cities call their central business district uptown, but a lot of American cities, including Los Angeles, call it downtown LA. Well, we're not down south. We're sort of centrally located. Los Angeles is so big. You know, we're actually a little west if you compare how big the area is. So this is not south by any means, but it's called downtown. Lower Manhattan, New York. Downtown. That's really in America. I get a lot of Australians, they call it the Central Business District. So right here, this is our World Trade Center on the right. This is a much smaller World Trade Center than there was in New York.
And this is where you kind of trading business?
There's a lot of trading business here, yes. Yes, absolutely. This is the biggest hotel in the city of Los Angeles on the right. It's called the Westin Bonaventure. It's getting old now. That hotel has, you know, it's been in many, many movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Remember True Lies? Remember with the horse? Right there. So that's the Westin. That's Robert. That's the doorman. I know him. He's been working there for about 40 years. So they're building a subway underneath here. Okay. You see how bumpy?
Yeah.
This van is literally brand new, so the shock absorbers are pretty good. But believe me, my friend Tom, he's in the automotive repair. He recently switched from doing all maintenance to only doing front ends and tires. You know why? Because LA is being tore up. The streets. If you were to buy a new car, I would tell you don't. Don't. Your shock absorbers, your struts, your tires, your alignment. It's nuts. They're building all over.
But that you are building all over means that the economy is good and you have money to...
I guess it means good, but you know the question about the economy being good for some and not good for many, because the poverty levels are pretty high. So it's a shift in the economy. But people are coming into the cities worldwide. It's not only in Los Angeles. This is all over the world. And there's more construction. They call this South Park. If you look through the front window, they're building like crazy. There's a company out of Dubai. The architecture reminds me, if you've ever seen a picture of Dubai, I've never been to Dubai, but I've seen pictures of just the architecture style. And they're building towers down there that are going to look like Dubai. It's a very interesting change, but it's a good question. I'm really glad you asked that about, is it dangerous? When I started coming down here in 1983, it was dangerous. It was awful. I used to pick up people at hotels here, and I would literally watch my back. I saw a lot of stuff in the 80s. A lot of tough things. This is Macy's Plaza, and they've remodeled it. It's become a very nice, I mean, you can see there's nice gyms down here. This is high rent. This is the opposite of dangerous now. That people who live down here, they pay like $10,000, $12,000 a month. We've been picking up at that hotel for 30 years, the Milner. And I'm telling you, it used to be the most dangerous. I couldn't believe people would stay there. It was cheap. And they would stay there. All of these new buildings here on the south end of downtown, this area was full of like crack, I call them crack houses. They were literally people who were on crack. And you saw, I mean, there's still a few, but it's changed so much. You know, these are $12,000 a month apartments here. There's a Whole Foods market. You know, whenever there's a Whole Foods, for those from other countries, the Whole Foods is like a high-end organic market. By the way, El Cholo, one of the best Mexican restaurants you can go to. It's fantastic. It's really, really good. There's 4 of them now. So this is where I normally turn. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I guess so. Yep. I want to show you this. This is what I'm talking about. Look at the Microsoft Theater down here, okay? Look at Staples Center, home of the Lakers. We probably get some Bulls fans on board here. Right?
Is the Microsoft Center
This
office?
is the center where Michael Jackson was practicing when he was being overworked, couldn't sleep. And then Michael Jackson was given the lethal dose from the Dr. Conrad Murray. So technically I can't stop here because that's red zone, but if anyone wants to get out and get a picture of this, just hop out. If the parking police come, I'm going to have to like circle.
We're going to jump out.
Jump out, get a picture of Chick Hearn right there. Chick Hearn, he's the LA Lakers announcer. And then there's Wayne Gretzky. He was a rancher. He owned about half of the state of Wyoming. And he owns a lot of sports teams, including the LA Kings. And all of this land here was a parking lot. This was a Holiday Inn hotel. So I know this area well because I used to pick up people there. And I'm telling you, this area had so many problems. And when this guy bought this land, I thought he was crazy on the left side. That's where the Oscars were given out for over 30 years. The Oscars used to be given out in downtown Los Angeles. The Shrine Auditorium, which is south of downtown near USC, University of Southern California, and here. Between here and the Shrine, it was almost 50 years. In the year 2000, they moved the Oscars to Hollywood. It was called the Kodak Theater, now it's called the Dolby Theater. So I'm going to show that to you later on in your tour. Right now, if you look on the right side, you can see the Walt Disney Concert Hall right here on the right. And if you see the front panel is sort of shiny, see how the sun's reflecting? The whole thing used to be like that, but they had to dull the finish. This was designed by a very famous architect named Frank Gehry, like the Guggenheim in Europe. This is very, very well known, this type of architecture, and it's Mr. Gehry. He was born in Canada, but he lives in Los Angeles. So usually I can stop here. Sometimes there are events, and they don't let me. But yeah, it looks good. We're here. We're here. Looks like we can stop this one. So take about 5 or so minutes. If you need the toilet, see where that man's going? Right there, see the door? You want a nice clean restroom? You guys from Norway, remember Americans? We call it restroom. We don't call it toilets. We don't do much resting in those rooms, but we call it that, right? Right, Chicago? Restroom.